You got to approve it, I think.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. Race car spelled backwards is still race car. This is the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me virtually yet again is Jamie. And yes, we are still virtual. Jamie's still dealing with his, I don't even know what you call it, your elbow?
Bacterial infection.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
But
I now have a hole to my bone the size of a nickel. I say a quarter, but the doctor today said it's just a nickel.
y'all argue over that?
What is stupid is I don't feel any pain now.
Well, that's
and he says it's healing.
That's the shot they gave you.
Oh, dude, that shot, it completely froze my left cheek down to my foot.
Yep. And now you feel no pain.
As we were walking from my car my wife drove me to our house when we got back. She's like, God dang, what is you walking like Igor?
That's hilarious.
I said, I can't feel anything from the waist down on the left side. And on my left arm, guy stuck his finger in it.
Well, even your doctor thinks we should be able to record back in the studio next Monday. So hopefully after New Hampshire, we'll be back.
Yeah, he even said if I can deal with the pain, just go ahead and work.
Oh, I wouldn't want that.
Well, that's what he wrote down too. So
that sounds like no fun to me. Who wants to work?
Well,
I don't want to.
Luckily,
I don't want to ever grow
our
up.
managers. I mean, I'm not going to give his last name, but Robert, our manager, is a great guy.
Oh yeah, Robert cares. He actually cares. That's why we work there. That's why we both work there.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I talked to him this morning. He is just a fantastic person. He's like, you do what you got to do. I'll take care of it.
Well, that's why we're virtual again, guys. We're doing what we got to do to make this show still happen. So
I only have one more specialist to go see. So
there's probably only
hopefully
one left.
After that's a week from tomorrow.
As many as you've seen, there's probably only one specialist left that you could possibly go see. Hey, we have to record in person next Monday because next Monday is July
25,
18th.
Dude.
It's July 18th.
No, it's the.
That's my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And it's
I'll stop by Publix and get you a piece of cake.
It'll be episode 24 next week for Jeff Gordon. This week is episode 23 for Bubba Wallace.
Jeez, I just can't count. We got 2 more for 25, don't we?
Yeah. So on my birthday, it'll be Monday. We'll record on my birthday. We'll have some cake.
So that's episode 24 next week.
24, yeah.
I can probably squeeze some pus out to top the cake off. No, I can't. I'm not pussing anymore.
Dude,
it was so nasty. It looked like I had a meatball where it scabbed up.
All right, well, let's get this show on the road.
Let's talk some racing.
We've already ended up in left field, right field, center field, and the bleachers, and we haven't even got the show on the road. So let's get this thing rolling.
Nobody cares about my Obamacare.
All right, the president, Dave.
Actually, I work.
How do you say this guy's name? You said it earlier. The president of Joe Gibbs, Alpern. So Dave Alpern, president at Joe Gibbs, came out this week with an update on the Kyle Busch 2023 contract negotiations that are going on. And Dave said same thing he's always said, that they hope to have Kyle Busch in the 18 car and Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity car next season, which is what they've been saying.
How many different ways can he say the same thing every week? I mean, he just keeps saying the same thing. To me, it sounds like they haven't come to an agreement or can't find any sponsors.
I think it comes down to sponsorship money and what they're willing to pay. Like, I don't think.
What do you think he makes a year? 20, 25 million?
I'd say an easy 20 million. Yeah.
Who else makes that kind of money? Harvick?
Maybe Denny.
Yeah.
Chase. I think Chase. Well,
maybe even Truex.
Truex, yeah, he's old school.
I bet you Chase is about 10 to 15.
I think Chase Elliott's probably the highest paid new driver, like newer. he's not new, but newer. You know, you got your Truex, your Harvick's, your Kyle Busch. Those guys have been around a while, so they came in when
it was expensive.
Everybody made big money. So
you're making bank back then.
But yeah, I think it has to do with the money. I think it's 100% money. Kyle doesn't want to give, if he's going to continue doing what he does, he's going to want to continue making what he's making or more. Can't blame him, right? So I think it comes down to money. But
if they don't come to agreement on the contract or find a sponsor, he's going to have to take a pay cut to keep racing on a different team. Guarantee it.
Well, yeah, but he said at that point, he'll go be a dad. I think a lot of these older drivers, they got younger kids because they start racing so young. They're not old. They're our age, but
yeah, he's late 30s.
He's starting to, yeah, me and Kyle Busch are the exact same age, different birthdays, but same age. But
I'm a little older than Harvick. That guy needs to quit, I guess. He's old.
He didn't do anything yesterday either. And I'll be honest, the amount of Harvick fans you used to see at Atlanta versus what you see at Atlanta, I saw one Kevin Harvick shirt all day.
I was a Harvick fan until Chase made it to the Cup, be honest with you, because I was a Dale Sr. fan more than Dale Jr. And because he took over Senior's car, I just kind of, at that point, I started following Junior, but kept my loyalty at RCR. And then Chase made it. And I said, all right, he's a Georgia boy. I got to root for him.
That's kind of where I'm at with Chase. Is just, he's a Georgia boy. How can you not, as a guy, as, you know, a Georgia native, it's kind of hard not to pull for the hometown guy, for me at least. And I mean, like you said, I like him too. I know a lot of people hate him, which kind of makes me like him even more, but I'm still not diehard Chase Elliott like I was Dale Jr. You know, if Chase Elliott said he's retiring tomorrow, I'm probably not going to cry. You know, I think the Dale Jr.'s final ride that whole season, every time they'd show a special, I'd tear up. I mean, that was a rough season to watch. I hated to see him walk away. And I have not been passionate about another driver since Dale Jr. retired. But I like Chase.
And I have the same feelings for his dad. I haven't been as passionate as I was for his dad.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people say that. So in other news,
you know,
what?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to move on.
I was just going to say, you know, with Chastain, I heard some people compare him to Dale Sr. But the one thing Chastain doesn't have is that twinkle and that wink and that smile.
Yeah. That, if you want to bring it out, bring it. I mean, they knew.
Yeah, you know,
just knew.
They would interview Senior and he'd
never
do a little wink and
anything.
No, but he'd have a shit-eating grin on his face when he said, well, you know, I kind of got a little loose before I hit him there. It's just bad how it worked out.
I don't want to wreck him. I just want to rattle his cage.
Yeah. And he'd just do a little wink and do a shit-eating grin, and you felt like you were part of the inside joke.
Oh, no doubt.
Chastain doesn't have that personality.
Not at all. And he apologizes. No, he didn't really apologize yesterday, but.
Oh, I have a quote for him do we have Chastain later? We do.
Yeah.
I'll save it for them.
You know, we got Chastain later. And I threw this next one in here just for you. Jordan Bianchi come out this week to announce the rumor of an announcement that Chicago road course is actually going to happen. That the city of Chicago has signed off on it. I guess the deal is not 1000% finalized, but Jordan Bianchi.
So we're now what?
There's a rumor of an announcement.
We got a report of a rumor now that Chicago might happen.
Yeah, we're 3 times rumored over here.
It's the worst held secret on the face of the earth. We do not want these people working for the CIA.
No crap. All right, so SRX was at Nashville Fairgrounds this weekend. I know you watched the wrong race.
I'm all doped. I'm doped up on painkiller, but
so I didn't watch the race until the SRX race until today. So I asked Jamie, I said, hey, did you watch the race? He goes, yeah, Chase won. It's like, what?
So
how did Chase win the SRX race again? He wasn't even in it. So I go and watch it and I realize, okay, Bobby Labonte won. Kind of find out, Jamie here had watched last year's SRX race, thinking it was this year's SRX race.
So I live far out in the country and I don't get NBC and we don't have cable. So I've subscribed to Peacock and US or Sling, which has USA Network. And I got before the SRX race started, I'm looking at the channel guide on Sling, and I looked like I had 20 minutes to wait. And I hit the button down on my Samsung, and it said SRX Nashville. I was like, well, that's weird. So I hit play. So I watched the whole thing. Of course, I'm on painkillers. I've watched the whole thing last year. It got over, and I was like, damn, that was kind of like last year at Nashville.
Chase Elliott won again.
Dang, Chase won. He must have hopped on it. And then yesterday, I'm like, he hopped on a plane and won in Atlanta too. That guy's on fire.
I'm glad you didn't tell me that yesterday. That would have really thrown me off. So Jamie's now watched the race, so he's caught up with everybody now. But Joseph Newgarden goes out. This is the first time he's ever run in a race with fenders, and he wins the heat race. That's pretty crazy. Your boy Helio goes out in the heat 2.
Oh, Helio.
Did I say it? I think I just screwed it up. Julio?
The H is silent.
Helio?
Mm-hmm. There you go. You're there.
Helio
Castroneves.
So,
excuse me.
He tears up his car, but there's heat 2 goes to Cole Williams, who was the local racer from Nashville. Bobby Labonte holds off Marco Andretti in the main event to win his first SRX race, which to me is cool because Bobby's an old school NASCAR guy. So of course I like that. I'm pulling for all the old school NASCAR guys, but I don't know, man. I don't know if there's too much racing for me to watch in one weekend on TV with Trucks, Xfinity, Cup, and SRX, or if the SRX, these guys are just getting too old and they're just calming down or something. But the last 2 SRX races have not been entertaining to me. Well, they've been entertaining, but they just haven't been exciting. Let's say that. I wouldn't watch something over and over. Was it entertaining?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, South Boston. Stewart, at the end of the race, they interviewed him. He goes, these guys don't understand. We got to fix these cars every week. They got to stop tearing it up. Well, he's an owner in the series. My guess is he said, boys, we can't afford to keep repairing these things.
Well, he's not.
And as I learned, they only have one back
in the series.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Camping World is not going to renew. They have not signed the contract yet for the Truck Series.
You think he'll go?
They also sponsor yeah, because think about it. Their Saturday night's race didn't look like it was 100%, maybe 90. And maybe they didn't sell those seats. The second time I watched it, not last year's rerun.
Which Saturday are we talking? Which year? 21 or 22?
We're talking about 2 days Saturday night. I finally watched that
recently.
Yeah, recent. But they're sold out. And I need to, and I'm just speculating now, but I guarantee you the viewership is higher than the Truck Series. So the optics are better, showing a crowded field in a full stadium. And what does each race take? Like an hour and a half to 2 hours? It's packaged just right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. So
yeah,
way better than 4.5 hours, 5 hours, like we've done.
I think Tony at a driver's meeting said, guys,
calm down.
I can't afford this.
Well,
of course, then he goes out and bumps everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing a lot of the bumping that night. So don't be pissed off. I mean, that's not when you're the one doing it. But look, to me, it's really hurt the packet or hurt the racing. The last 2 weeks have suffered because of whatever happened.
I agree with you.
I don't know if Tony said anything or Evernham said anything. I don't know. But something happened, and it's different now than it was when it started. The personalities aren't even as big right now. It's like they're deflated. It's like the drivers,
and they
like
were gigantic. You know,
yeah,
up until South Boston. After that, it was like,
that's what I mean. After that, and you had Michael getting out ready to fight Tony. I mean, it was
Tony choking.
Yeah, it was mayhem. And now it's just like the old folks club hanging out at the retirement home. It's just, I don't know. Well, speaking of other racing, Parker Kligerman, Mid-Ohio, goes on to win the race there in the truck. I always think it's cool when Parker gets in the car because he's an NBC booth guy. Or not booth guy, but an NBC pit reporter. I think he brings,
which I think he does a good job at too.
I think he brings a lot to it because he still races in these truck races. But rumor on the street was Parker Kligerman had a chance to be driving that RCR Xfinity car this year, and the deal fell through. And that's how, I guess, Austin Hill, or not Austin Hill, but Sheldon Creed ended up in it. So I don't know how that happened, but the rumor was originally that he was going to be in
drop out or something.
Must have. I think he would have killed it. I think he would have done great in that RCR car. I mean, probably.
But don't forget, Austin Hill from Douglasville, or Winston, which is outside of Douglasville. He won. I mean, Georgia swept the Atlanta Speedway.
We used to pass by. Well, I used to pass by Austin Hill's house all the time. I lived right out there off Highway 5, that area, for years. And when you go down from Douglasville heading towards Winston, you'd always pass their house and their race shop. And you knew it was the race shop because the had this big race car out by the mailbox. So, or that might have been the mailbox. But I know where Austin Hill lives.
But I found a connection. I found a connection to Georgia with Parker Kligerman.
What's that?
He's been to Georgia.
So it was a Georgia kind of weekend.
But I just Googled him, and he's not from Georgia.
That's good to know.
But he's been here.
Well, speaking of Georgia, Georgia's own Chase Elliott goes out, starts on the pole, wins stage 1, wins stage 2, holds off Corey LaJoie and Reckham Ross to win the race in Atlanta, his home track, setting the siren off at the pool hall. And Jeff Gluck asked, was it a good race? What do you think people say?
Here's a question for you.
What's that?
Why does Dawsonville get to own Chase? I don't understand why the churches don't ring their bells in Atlanta. I think the whole state owns them now. You've been to the races. 75% of the fans are wearing Elliott stuff.
Yeah, but the Dawsonville thing, that's just from when his dad drove too.
I know.
Dawsonville from Dawsonville.
I don't want to wish Bubba any ill will, but wouldn't it be awesome if McDonald's left Bubba
and went back to the Elliott? No, I don't know. Yeah, I think Bill awesome. Elliott was a perfect fit for McDonald's back in the day because they Ronald and Bill, red hair.
He kind of looked like him, didn't he?
I looked alike. So that was cool. It was so cool yesterday, man. It's like I was at the track. I had my 15-year-old son with me, and Chase Elliott. That's the driver we both pull for, and we got to see him win. And that you don't always get to see your favorite drivers win, but my son's very first race when he was 6 years old, we were at Talladega, and that was when Dale Jr. won his last Talladega race. And I told my son that day, I said, it doesn't get much better than this. You're starting at the top. And then yesterday when we were walking out of our seats, heading towards the car, he goes, man, it's so cool. I got to see Dale Jr. win and Chase Elliott. So at 15, he's already seen 2 of his favorite drivers win a race. Now he has had to sacrifice and sit through 2 Joey Logano wins at Talladega. The poor guy. I feel really bad for him, and I feel bad as a dad for making him do that.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
But he saw Brad Keselowski win.
That's wrong.
That helped a little bit. That wipes one of the Logano.
I'm surprised your wife didn't call the Department of
Child Protective Services,
Child Protection Agency, or whatever.
I almost called him. I almost called him on myself. Like I made my
report
son.
Yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I made my son watch Joey Logano win at Talladega.
Speaking of Joey Logano, so one time at Daytona, we went through the whole Daytona USA exhibit. And when you come out at the end, they have the winner of the Daytona 500's car there, and they'll take your picture. So me, my wife, my 2 daughters, and my son, we walked out of the experience thing, and the guy's like, please step right over here to have your picture taken. I said, no, thank you. And I grabbed all my family, and I'm like dragging them off. And the guy's like, no, sir, you can come stand in front of Joey Logano's car and we'll take your family photo. I said, no, I'm not allowing any of my children to get their photo taken in front of that car. And then we just walked off, and the guy was just standing there with all slack jaw. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so, I'd rather stay at the Beach House Inn again than get a Logano picture.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so
yeah, I'd rather deal with the feces in the tub.
Jeff Gluck's poll. Was it a good race? 20,000 votes in, 64% of you said yes, 36% of you said no. I want to meet the 36% that said no, because you need to just go sit at Richmond. If you didn't enjoy Atlanta, you can have Richmond, because that was some of the best racing I've seen all year. And
Cal Busch
it was
fans.
better than
That's
the spring race.
Cal Busch.
It's got to be. It's got to be the Chase Elliott haters and Cal Busch lovers. It's got to be, because that race was really good. In person, it was even better than it was on TV. The track was slick. The cars were hard to handle. It was tight racing. The draft, the run they would get, huge. It was phenomenal to watch in person. If you got tired of watching the leaders, you go back to the second pack.
On a scale of 1 to 10, since we do it that way, what would you give it?
I'm going to roll with a 10. And that has nothing to do with the winner. I mean, it was just 3.5 hours, perfect race length, 3.5 hours. I was entertained for 3.5 hours the whole time. My 15-year-old son entertained the whole race. So that's saying something.
Well, I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a 7 watching it on television. I had a ticket, but couldn't go.
Dang elbow.
Yeah.
Well, like I said,
sucks.
I'm giving it a 10 as somebody who was there. You know, I experienced it. You could feel it. You could hear it. You could smell it. You could see it. What more can you ask for?
Well, since I had nothing but time on Sunday, as I cringed and held my elbow and caressed it, hoping that I got to keep my hand, I went back because we both attended the spring race. And my thought was, the spring race, because we watched the race, and when we looked at the Gluck poll, we were like, man, they didn't see what we saw.
Oh, yeah, in the spring. The results were similar in the spring.
So I went and watched the spring race too on YouTube. And that race was great. I think the big difference was the coverage. I'm telling you right now, after watching the NBC coverage.
Shouldn't the poll be higher then? If we're saying it's
coverage? It should be. But I think it's Cal Busch fans or Jesse Iwuji fans that are pissed off because he hasn't raced in the Cup Series.
Even Cal Busch fans that were at that race would have voted yes. So I think it's just Cal Busch fans who are pissed off that Cal does not know how to get around the new Atlanta. 2 races in a row kind of prove that right now. I think that's all it is. And the people who, you're either a Cal Busch fan or you hate Chase Elliott, or you're a Chase Elliott fan. I mean, there's 3 types of people right there. You're either a Chase fan, Cal Busch fan, or you're a fan of somebody else and you hate. But everybody, if you're a fan of anybody other than Kyle, I mean, Chase, you hate Chase. I don't understand why it works that way. I mean, I get it.
Has Chase ever had a run-in with Kyle? I don't get it. I don't.
Well, I mean, when people win and you're the most popular, the other people are going to hate you. It's just how it works. It happened with Earnhardt. It happened with DW. It's happened with Chase. Happened with Jeff. Happened with Jimmy. 7-time Jimmy Johnson, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, allegedly, because I've never met Jimmy. Well, no, I take that back. My son got his autograph in that VIP experience that time. Jimmy walked by us, turned around.
Didn't you meet everybody but
Joey? But Jimmy turned around, kneeled down, and apologized to my son for walking past. So yeah, Jimmy Johnson, people hated him. Nice guy. I think it's that, the popularity, the success effect, or whatever you want to call it. So
Jimmy really, and I talked to him at the 24 Hours of Daytona pre-COVID. It's like BC, before Christ. We're PC
before COVID, after
pre-COVID.
BC.
He is a super nice guy.
Oh,
just super nice guy.
The only negative I could have found in yesterday's race from my fan experience of being there, and I'll be honest, I said this in my SMI survey, was the heat. I do not know why NASCAR, NBC, Fox TV, whoever, because I know the decision was made by NASCAR and the TV people, wanted to run a race midday in July in Georgia. That would be like doing it in Central Florida in July. It was yesterday when the sun was not under the clouds. It was hot. Like you could feel it burning your skin. I mean, we were there.
Well, I'm going to paraphrase.
We had those sunscreen long sleeve shirts and hoods. I mean, we were covered up to try to stay cool. If NASCAR and the tracks care whatsoever about the fan experience, they can't do that. That's not cool.
Well, I'm going to paraphrase what you texted me. I said, how's the race? And you said, it's hotter than Satan's butt hole. But you didn't use that much term.
Of a paraphrase.
Well, it's a different word. Use the a-hole word. Oh. It's hotter than Satan's a-hole, which is pretty damn hot.
Oh, it was hot, man.
I've never been in it.
I was melting. Like,
I'm going down the wrong.
Felt like I was melting.
I'm getting out of this rabbit hole.
Last lap of the race, Chase Elliott throws what he refers to as a mega block in turns 1 and 2 to hold off Corey LaJoie, sending Corey LaJoie into the wall, wrecking the rest of the field. Chase stayed ahead of Ross, the boss Chastain, to win the race. I'm really surprised Ross just didn't turn right into Chase. They said they're wrecking and just try to take Chase out because, I mean, heck.
Well, he had all those other accidents.
He had hit everything else on the track. I wonder how many weeks Ross's crew chief goes, I want you to go out and I want you to hit the pace car. You've hit every damn thing else out there, and I want you to be perfect. Hit the pace car. Because
I don't know. I've gotten tired of Ross. I like him, but lately he's just crashing too much, man. He's not. He's wrecking other people.
I think Chase even said he had to do what he did. Corey LaJoie said he was okay with Chase doing what he did. I think it's this style of racing since the playoffs have started has made it okay to wreck somebody on the last lap.
But, I didn't think while I was watching it live, I was kind of like, it'd be cool if Corey won because Chase already has 2 wins, but I'd rather he not. But I was like, I had made myself okay with it if he won. But I was saying, I was saying it out loud. I was like, now's not the time. Now's not the time. Now's not the time. And then he just jammed his nose in there and Chase blocked it.
And I
think if he would have, he was going for it. I still think he had another chance. He had
second or 21st. It don't matter to him. I think I would have waited till turns 3 and 4 personally, but somebody else was making a move. He had to make the move. When he made the move, he went for it. Corey LaJoie drove his butt off all day. He led laps. He legitimately had a chance to win that race. No doubt about that.
And I have more respect for him after yesterday.
Oh,
because he went for it.
But
he went for it, man.
The thing that's different about Atlanta, Talladega, and Daytona is the run. Like you can see the run coming. Like you hear them talk about on Door Bumper Clear. The spotters will talk about how you can see the run building up and you can see the run coming. At Atlanta, it's even more abrupt. It's almost too fast to block it. It's how fast that run comes. So when Chase went up, there's no blocking it. I mean, unless you're early, you're late. There's no perfect block almost anymore because it's just they're coming too fast. So Corey went for it, and I think Corey knew before he even decided to go for it under caution. He knew he was going to go for it, and there was a very good chance he was going to get wrecked.
What do you think of the blocking? I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either, man. It's exciting. Look, we all want to say we want traditional racing. We're purist, fundamentalist, whatever. But the fact of the matter is we want an exciting race. We're humans, and there's no way you're going to get a human being to sit in front of a TV and watch it for 4 hours if it's not entertaining. Like, I've come to peace with that. I am not going, well, we need to go back to like when the leader was 33 laps ahead of second place. Screw that. Who wants to watch that? That's not racing.
Well, that's how Atlanta was until they reconfigured it last year.
I've fallen asleep at Atlanta sober. So Atlanta used to suck. I'm just going to say it. I want to be entertained. I want to see an entertaining. That doesn't mean I want to see wrecks. What that means is I want to see strategies played out. I want to see side by side. I like side by side. To me, side by side is the definition of racing.
Hey, they successfully did three wide.
Yeah.
Where in the spring race, they couldn't do it.
No. And the track was honestly, it was hotter and slicker. So I'm surprised they were able to pull it off.
This is back to Ross Chastain. This is on NASCAR.com. They interviewed him post race. He said him wrecking Hamlin was not the same because he had a lot of damage to repair.
So I think what he meant there was he had a lot of damage to his car, so he had more drag, and his car wasn't as precise as it was pre-damage. Like if he gave it a little bit of input to the right, it moved more than it did before.
Maybe. I don't know. He seemed to be able to handle it really well until he got side by side with Denny Hamlin.
He finished second. So yeah, he had something going for him. But that's the thing. I think we're going to just go ahead and talk about Ross. This guy is not going to win a championship. You said it. He will not win a championship if he keeps doing this. They're not going to let him.
Somebody will get bounced out of the playoffs in the next race. They won't have anything to lose, and it'll be the race he has to win.
I could see.
And they'll wreck him.
I could see Denny Hamlin not making the Final Four. Not making the Final Four. And Ross Chastain making the Final Four. I could see Denny Hamlin wait until stage 3 at Phoenix, the start of stage 3, and waiting on Chastain, just wrecking him. Just wrecking him. No reason. Just wrecking him. Get him in the wall. Denny will wait till the last minute to do it. I could see it happening. Truex, Denny said he's reached his breaking point. Truex.
Did you see his post interview? I mean, he had a big old smile on his face.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
I can take him. I can't take anymore. And they're like, what are you going to do? He goes, it always works itself out. I know that's where you get scary because he ain't threatening and he's not pissed off. He's just determined now. But this is what I hope to see. The Final Four are in Homestead, which is just a dream because we're not going there. We're going to Phoenix. But we're in Homestead doing the final race of the year. Hamlin and Watermelon Man are both in the top 4. Truex is out, and Truex just does a pit maneuver on him and crashes him into the wall. Hamlin wins. Because as we know, I used to hate Denny. Now I'm a Denny fanboy.
But like your friends, remember?
But I like Chase better. I haven't met Chase either, but I'm a homer. Sorry.
I got to meet. You're a what? I got to
meet Homer.
I got to meet Chase. He's a pretty cool guy. He signed that hat I got, and he signed the flag. My son's got a checker flag signed by all the drivers that we got in Talladega. But
I saw him at the 600, but he had an
guy.
entourage around him,
Oh, he don't go anywhere without.
They have all the Napa executives around him.
I listened to him and Eddie DeHaan for the majority of the race. I will be honest. I flipped over to Keselowski and Justin Haley just to hear my DBC guys, but it's crazy, man. Listening to, I've heard them at Dega and I've heard them at Daytona, but listening at Atlanta sounds so much different. They're nonstop. I mean, it's never a quiet. Even when Chase is leading, Eddie DeHaan the whole time is telling him what's going on behind him. And it's just cool to listen to it because honestly, the spotter, to me, I feel like they're giving more input into the decisions made on the track than the drivers are. Because if Eddie DeHaan would say, go high, twice, there's 2 instances where he said clear high and Chase didn't make the move. And then under caution or under the stage break, Chase even said, hey, sorry, it seemed a little close. And Eddie's like, don't worry about it. It just, don't be sorry, move on. We got to finish this race off. So I think Eddie DeHaan's a phenomenal spotter, but it was cool to listen to Brett Griffin. They had a wreck. He's like, hey man, watch out when you come back around. There's shiny shit everywhere over there. NASCAR's going to have to clean this up. I know I sound way more country than he did, but I was trying.
So they got that council that discusses the cautions before they call a caution.
That council was not working during the Christopher Bell incident. What the hell?
Yeah, that was weird.
It was almost like he was just abruptly pitting. Like it wasn't even really cause for a caution. Even the replay is like, what happened? I think even Christopher Bell was shocked the caution came out.
Yeah, I think so too. If I could have heard him talking to his spotter, he probably said, "What? Who? Why is there a caution?
Why is there a caution?
Who wrecked?
As soon as he got wiggly, they threw the caution. He wasn't even wrecking yet. I don't think he still hasn't wrecked, in my opinion. Well, I guess when his tire fell off on pit road, I guess he's got Bubba Wallace's crew. Of course, Bubba Wallace.
Maybe there's a conspiracy here. Joe Gibbs wants a reason to fire him, and NASCAR's give him a reason.
No, I think Joe Gibbs is having crew problems this year, big time.
Yeah, they did the switch, and even Bubba still had a problem.
Yeah, so Bubba Wallace, something happened. I mean, he was coming to pit I think it was first or second pit of the race coming in. It was like he just missed his stall or something altogether. Then he had to back up back into it. Like, come on, man. Honestly, I think it was the Cody Ware paint scheme that he was sporting yesterday. I think that jinxed him.
I thought it was the new Trek car.
Every time I would see Cody Ware or Bubba, I would get confused on who was who. I mean, they were both in the back, so that didn't help. And
they're both crashed all the time.
Bubba's problems are only on pit road.
That was a great race.
Oh, you didn't have a lot of issues.
I'm getting used to seeing him spinning.
Oh, yeah. Your Garrett Smithley had issues. Honestly, Garrett Smithley, nothing against the guy. Cody Ware, nothing against the guy. But watching them get passed so many times at Atlanta is almost nerve-wracking because it is tighter. And I don't trust those guys to hold a steady line going through the turn. Now, they are going 20, 30 miles an hour slower, but
they did have to go 3 wide to pass them a couple of times.
That's what a couple.
In the spring, they weren't used to the new super speedway. It went 3 wide, and we wouldn't see them go through 2 corners without crashing.
Speaking of crashing,
but like I said, they had 3 lanes this time.
Speaking of crashing, what the hell is up with this Jesse Iwuji guy? I mean, he might be a very cool individual. I am very thankful for his service to this great country of ours. But at this point, the dude's making a fool out of himself. He's making a fool out of his partner, Emmett Smith. He's making a joke out of the Xfinity series. I mean, the dude's he raced the same exact way in the trucks. He sucks. I hate to say it because he's such.
They need to throw him back down in the trucks, to be honest.
No, he needs to go to ARCA. He might need to go run the Cars Tour
How about
late model
East?
stocks?
Yeah.
I mean, something, because
how did they give him his license?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing to see what this guy does every single week.
I mean, well, I texted you this when he wrecked Saturday, and I was like, you were like, that's a phantom wreck. What he hit? And I said, Wonder Woman's flying in her invisible jet, and she bumped into him.
It's just, I don't know. At some point, like, somebody has to say something, right? Like, I know we're not the only ones seeing this. I mean, I've heard it on DBC. Seen it all over Twitter. If the dude's on Twitter, he knows. If Emmett Smith's on Twitter, he knows.
I'm pretty sure they are.
It's like a Ponzi scheme. Like, Emmett Smith's getting scammed big time.
Maybe NASCAR's paying Iwuji to get some yellows.
Yeah, I think we need to have Emmett Smith on the podcast and let him speak. Let's hear his side of it. Maybe there's more. Maybe he's locked into some kind of agreement he can't get out of it. I haven't heard him talk yet. I'm a
Falcons fan. I really hate the Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints. I don't. Maybe Emmett could turn me like Denny did if he was a nice guy.
Maybe.
Then I'll be calling Emmett my new friend. Let's reach out to his management. He owns a race car team, right?
Let me tell you who owns a race car team and is a badass. That's Justin Marks.
Yes, he is.
Him and Pitbull got a phenomenal team. I really like the whole Trackhouse thing. Like, this whole Trackhouse venture they're on with music, entertainment. Really, they're saying it's one team, one dream. I kind of believe them. Justin Marks, he's run the SRX events, SRX, and he's run the truck race. I mean, the dude's he's a OG BA.
Now, he is the future of the sport.
No doubt.
And what he's doing, we need more teams. And, I follow him on Twitter. They're locked in for social media.
Yeah.
And I like Ross Chastain. I think he's got to be a little calmer, because to win a championship, you have to have those people that have dropped out or didn't make it on your side. And I think Ross isn't going to get a championship until he calms down a little.
I think Ross is extremely talented. I think Ross is going to be a superstar. I think Ross is already a star, but I think with Trackhouse,
he finished second.
He's going to be a superstar.
And most of his, I think so too.
He's probably the most consistent. If he doesn't get wrecked, he'll win the championship. But I don't think he will be allowed
for a little bit in the spring in Atlanta. He was up front. He was with his Advent car, Advent Healthcare.
But
he led for a while till they wrecked him.
And see, the reputation of Ross will take you out is already stuck with him. Because did you notice during Austin Dillon's interview when Ross started that wreck that took out all those guys? Austin Dillon, they see Ross just being aggressive again. It's like, that's his reputation. And it's not like, it's because of how he is when he's in interviews, but he's not owning it. Like, he needs to Dale Earnhardt own it. I mean, just
because if Joey Logano's own it.
Yeah, that's what he's kind of, honestly, he's kind of a mix of Chase Elliott. Remember Chase Elliott, every time he screw up or something would happen, he'd get out, I'm so sorry. Well, he's kind of doing Ross is kind of a little bit of Chase Elliott and a little bit whiny. He needs to and Joey Logano-esque. So he needs to get rid of the Logano or get rid of the Elliott, get out and say, yes, I moved him. Yes, I wanted to win. No, I don't care if I hurt his feelings. No, I don't care what he thinks. But he can't.
You're gonna have to have some. You're gonna have to have some goodwill on the track to win a championship.
1,000% agree with that. Unless he just wrecks everybody before they wreck him. What if he goes out and wrecks Truex and Denny Hamlin lap 2 at Phoenix?
Creates 3 big ones at Phoenix.
They better wreck him on pit road before the race starts. Well, NBC, as always, did a great job. Like I said,
way better. Like I said, I watched the spring race over. It's night and day compared to Fox to NBC. Fox, as we've said over and over again, makes us fans a joke. Where NBC's serious about racing.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to listen to the beginning of next season. I'm skipping Fox. I can't do it again. It's getting hard.
MRN, PRN.
Yep, that's it. All right, well, NBC's got us covered again on the USA Network this weekend. We're going to New Hampshire. Jamie, when I get to New Hampshire, where do I want to make sure I do not stay?
Well, I discovered while looking at these reviews, these Yankees, New Connecticut Yankees, whatever you want to call them. I'm not being derogatory. They're just from the north.
Aren't you a Yankee?
I'm a half breed. Half of me.
Where were you born?
Half of my ancestors are from Georgia, and the other half.
Where were you born?
Macon, Georgia.
You were born in Georgia. Macon. All right. How old were you when you moved north?
8 or 9.
And then when did you come back?
Well, I came back all the time. My grandparents lived here.
All right, we'll take you. You can be a Southerner. We'll take you.
And the majority.
But when you lived up north, where was up north? Well, tell everybody where up north was.
I was in Washington, D.C., which is south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, so it's really not north, but anything above Tennessee is a Yankee to me.
But my dad was born in New Jersey and raised in Stamford, Connecticut.
Hey, man, once you leave Georgia, you're a Yankee.
Pretty much. When I moved back, that's what people were saying. But anyway, I'm going to first say there was a lot of fantastic hotels. It was hard to find any negative reviews.
Does it say e-commerce?
And like I said, the Yankees are not as, they're kind of like the Midwesterners. They don't use a lot of words. But,
the words the words they do use, you can't say on this show.
I wonder why my autocorrect it called it Econo Lodge.
That's what it says.
It should have corrected that. It's the Econo Lodge, one of our favorite shitty hotels. Oh, sorry.
You can say
bad hotels.
You just can't say the F word.
Frick? Frickin' frack?
All right.
Well, anyway, just 10 months ago, Erin Conroy gave it a 1 out of 5 on Google. She says, beware, they stole our money. Literally. This place has documented history of the owner and or management staff being thieves and frauds. They were absolutely no damage of any kind in our room from us. We were not the subject of any complaints and did not engage in any disruptive behavior. Here is the scam they used to keep your $100. So I guess you got to give them a deposit of $100. When we went to the front desk to check out, a man who purported himself to be the owner oddly began making a scene, accusing us of stealing 1 or 2 duvet covers on the beds. We advised him if it wasn't on now, then it wasn't on when we got there. He yelled at my wife when she asked him to repeat what he was saying because she didn't understand him. And when we tried to show him that we did not have a duvet cover either on us or in our car or in our luggage, and asked him to verify that we did not leave the hotel and to verify we never carried out any hotel property, he became belligerent and almost violent. We asked him to contact the police so that we could document the event and that we did not remove any hotel information. Before they were saying duvets, now it's information. And at the mention of the police, he became more erratic and began to yell at us. We videotaped our whole encounter, made a police report, filed a complaint with the Attorney General.
Wow.
Are filing complaints with multiple state federal agencies. We will be going throughout the town near the property to warn all people that they are thieves and are operating in violation of several codes and conducting deceptive business practices.
Man, I'm blown away by the words, like the big words. In the South, we don't use it. Belligerent. Never do you use that one in the South.
I had to practice some pronunciations.
Duvet.
That's what I was calling it at first, and then I Googled the
Duvet.
pronunciation.
Who corrected you on Duvet? I wouldn't have corrected
I watched
you.
a video. I watched a video.
Use that
YouTube
website Janet sent us.
No, I did not use that one. I just went to Google and put duvet. At least that's how it's spelled. But
a man who purported himself. I've never, ever.
I don't think that's proper English. It just doesn't sound right. But
purported. He purported himself.
I'm not a math major.
Literally, he purported himself.
But Tina, just a week ago, Tina Anno, 1 week ago, gave it a 1 out of 5. And this kind of correlates with what Aaron said. Tina says, booked for the wrong night by accident, called 2 minutes after to tell them to cancel, and they would not refund my money, $230. Awful place. The guy was very rude and will never do business. Airbnb them again. They are a complete rip off.
They Airbnb Econo Lodges?
I didn't know you could. I guess so.
That sounds sketchy in itself. So if you're going through Airbnb to book an Econo Lodge hotel, you deserve to get ripped off. It just sounds stupid. She didn't even use big words. So it's not an intelligence thing out of that area where Aaron's from. Tina is obviously not from the same school Aaron went to, because she didn't use any big words. She said it's an awful place. The guy, very rude. She even didn't even spell was correct. I mean, I know I shouldn't be judging people's grammar because I suck in math, but hey, that's what we do on here. So I'm going to do it.
And obviously she's not a math addict.
I wonder how clean the Econo Lodge is. So let's just say I'm willing to lose an additional $100 not to sleep in feces stained sheets and bathe in an infested shower. Let's just say I'm willing
to the beach house.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I would be willing to throw an extra $100 your way to make sure my stay was clean.
Well, we actually did that at the beach house inn.
I know. So
we spent it at another hotel.
Let's say they spent $120 a night plus an extra 100. So that's $220 a night, or it's $100 a stay. You stay 2 nights. It's worth it. It's $50 extra a night to be clean. Now we don't know that it's clean, but all they've two reviews, all they've talked about is the thieves. I mean, we've had thieves before. We've had multiple drug dealers in the parking lot.
Well, I'm going to give you a little teaser. We got a whole new scenario coming up.
All right.
That we've never had before.
Where are we
going? First, we're going to the Elmwood Motor Lodge.
Yeah, motor boating.
Marianne Antalion, whatever. Math problem. So she gave it a 1 out of 5. She said the room was filthy and very dingy. I found little black bugs dead in one of my beds. And every time we'd go outside, the groundskeeper would come out of the office and sit in a chair behind the office building facing us, just sitting there glaring at us. It was really creepy and uncomfortable, like a weird horror show. That is creepy.
I want to know what this guy looked like, this groundskeeper, because I'm picturing the dude from Harry Potter, the old long hair dude with the cat. Have you seen Harry Potter?
Oh, I was thinking of Forrest Gump.
You're too old for Harry Potter.
No, I love Harry Potter.
I'm Gryffindor. Just saying. All right, go ahead.
I'm not that into it.
Hey, I've got a Harry Potter tattoo. So does my wife. We have matching Harry Potter tattoos.
Yeah, I've seen them at our company Christmas party.
Oh yeah, that's right. You met my wife.
I see her when we record live almost every week.
Once a week.
So we got the Ellenwood part. Let's go back. Just like I said, they don't speak a lot up there in the Northeast, kind of like Midwesterns.
Kind of like a weird
Midwesterners. I don't know. So Ellenwood Part 2, Michael Quimby, he said 1 out of 5. The lobby was full of bugs and took 30 minutes to check in. Room was overpriced and disgustingly dirty. Should have just slept in my car. So we kind of
how dirty your car is.
That's true.
Well, we know it's. I mean, the Elmwood Horror Show is obviously a nasty and disgusting hotel.
I think it's kind of like the beach.
That's
hotel.
what I'm thinking. Just imagine.
We were like, if we can't get another
gold gems glove lady, I bet if we would have walked outside talking crap, she would have went and sat in a chair. She was watching her every move.
Stared.
She knew we left, and she said she was going to watch that room, make sure nobody else stayed in it.
Yep, because she was charging us.
She was vigilant, and I would call her creepy.
So, like I said, there's only 30 hotels in Loudoun, and I'm telling you, there's 3 that.
Well, we're going to New Hampshire.
We should move there. But anyway, this is the highest rated hotel. There's only one bad review. It's the Bayside Inn. It's lakefront. Google rates it a 4.6. And I went through to make sure we didn't have any auto responses of best stay ever. 1 out of 5. And this is kind of ridiculous. The owner does not care about her guests. We accidentally locked ourselves out of our room at 10:30 p.m. We could not find the owner. We ran the doorbell. They didn't ring it. They ran it repeatedly and then had to knock on the neighbor's door for help. When the owner came out and she swore at us and was very angry. I have never been treated so rudely. I read all the other ratings. That's the only 1 out of 5. There were some 3s and there was little things where people said, they didn't have enough towels and had to walk down and complain. But this is the place, if we go to Loudoun, I want to stay at because.
Well, so this was the only bad review?
Only bad review on all of Google reviews.
And it come from Michael Gamecock?
Yeah. Kamak.
Oh.
Kamak?
Michelle.
I don't know.
Is that Michelle or Michael?
But it just goes to show you're not going to please everybody.
I mean, that's a fact. You know what I'm noticing? And I think Michelle Michael Kamek, whatever that is. I'm thinking they might be from the South because we rang the doorbell repeatedly. Nobody answered.
No, they didn't ring it. They ran it.
They ran it. My bad. They ran the doorbell completely. Okay. There's your first problem. You're running the doorbell. You should be ringing it. But
use your finger. Don't run.
She says the owner come out and swore at them and was angry. Look, it's up north. These people swear all the time. My wife's from upstate New York. They use the F word like I use any word.
My dad's from up north.
Every 5 words, the F word comes out. So it's just, they swear a lot up north. So maybe this lady comes out and she's not mad. Maybe she's just swearing.
Yeah, they got so many inflections.
And all the other reviews are good. It's a 4.6. So maybe Michelle's from the South and she misunderstands the tone. Maybe it's meant to be rude.
Maybe they got embarrassed. She and her boyfriend, her husband were naked.
Well, why are you trying to get into the hotel naked? Weren't you?
They were getting out. Remember? They left the room and it locked behind them.
Oh, so they're running the doorbell naked.
So they're butt naked. They don't want anyone to see them. They're hitting that doorbell. They're panicking, hoping, they don't get seen. And then as a last resort, they knocked on their neighbor's door.
And that's why she comes out mad because they naked. And there she's like, I won't see nobody naked.
And her neighbor saw her butt naked.
She's like, I didn't want to see that. And I didn't want to see them naked either. I didn't want to see neither one of y'all naked. So now she's mad and it's being mistaken for rudeness, but it's actually her discomfort. Okay. Yeah, I'm with that. All right. Where we're going next?
All right. These are short ones, but.
Dude, you got to be joking about the name of this.
I know the name of the hotel. This is the place you do not stay at. You go to a campground and get a tent at Walmart. The Lun Hing Hotel, which sounds like it should be in Hong Kong.
That's what I was thinking. That's Chinese,
not country ass New Hampshire.
Lun Hing.
Herman Groth reviewed it 1 out of 5.
All right, Herman.
And I'm going to read the first sentence. He says, "Yes, Marcel, it is still open." So I looked at every single review. I could not find one from Marcel. So I don't know who he's responding to.
Maybe he's telling somebody his review and Siri's recording it. So
could be.
He's telling Marcel, like, hey, Marcel, Yes, it is still open. Carry on, Jamie.
But this guy never stayed there. He goes to the Dunkin' Donuts across the street. He said, in fact, I went to the Dunkin's, he calls it.
Oh, Dunkin's.
Across the street at 4:40 this morning.
Dunkin's could be his buddy that lives across the street from Marcel at the Long
There were
Motel.
3 Concord police cars outside and several people in handcuffs. I'm waiting for the weekly police log to be posted so I can see what went on. And although I usually tend to see most walks of life going in and out of the room at 4 a.m, well, he says 4 a.m. hour. Let's not paraphrase. We could get sued. When I go to get my Dunkin's coffee, you'll still good to see 1 or 2 of the local idiots hanging out on a chair outside the room, totally spacing out and soaking up the sun as you drive by. Oh, and don't forget the weekly yard sale they have out in the parking lot every Saturday.
What?
Yeah, that should make for a nice, peaceful Saturday morning for you to sleep in. Oh, to sleep in. Still interested in booking a room? Question mark.
Herman's an idiot, man. Like, the sun's not out at 4 a.m.
What do you think? Maybe
where do you live at 4 a.m. that the sun's out? He's watching people soaking up the sun as he's driving
the drug out guys.
The
soaked up guys are putting on baby oil and laying out at 4 a.m. like they're going to catch a suntan.
We don't know that. Out. You're assuming that. You're making a lot of assumptions here, Jamie.
I am.
Herman could just be an idiot, and it might not be 4 a.m. How you going to review a hotel you didn't stay at?
When was the last time you met a Herman, dude?
From that show, Herman Munster.
Pee Wee Herman?
No, Herman Munster. Speaking of Herman Munster, Rob Zombie's about to release that movie again. I can't wait. The Monsters. Did you watch that growing up?
Yep.
Yeah.
After school's reruns.
He's remaking the movie or remaking it into a movie. I can't wait till it comes out. All right.
So part 2, this is our first time ever on our reviews. Leisha Viper.
The name, is that the first time ever?
No. Listen. She gave it a 1 out of 5. Never stay there. I did for 2 nights. And each time I went somewhere, I'd come back to this lady leaving my room. Extremely odd. And I never believed in ghosts, but something was in that room besides the creepy owner being noisy. She's saying there's a ghost there. Nosy. We have never had a ghost. No, not once.
Holy crap. You're right.
We've never had a ghost.
Here's what I'm noticing.
I would rather stay in the beach hotel than have a ghost in my room.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but in the South, we have hillbillies jumping out of holes. Out West, we have Asians jumping out of cabinets or whatever. And then up North, you have ghosts.
Well, the Puritans settled there first, so they got a longer history.
What would you rather have jump out at you?
I'd rather have bed bugs, I think. That's the worst.
That's like a joke. A hillbilly, an Asian, and a ghost walk into a hotel. That's the start of a really good joke.
By Wyndham. A hotel by Wyndham.
Heck, that's a commercial. Now we're talking. A Days Inn commercial. A hillbilly, an Asian, and a ghost walk into a Days Inn for $9.99 a night.
Well, then we have Michelle Stewart. This is the last one. Like I said, they didn't have a lot of words. 1 out of 5. Very low scale junkie motel. Maybe, hey, let's connect this to the other one. Maybe Leisha was on drugs when she saw the ghost.
You think? I mean,
I hope
very
not.
low scale junkie. What's a low scale junkie? So what's a high scale? I guess we need to establish what a junkie is first. So
I assume you're hooked on drugs, right? Whatever drug it is.
Okay. So a druggie is a junkie. So what's a high scale?
So
and a low scale. You have to have a low scale, you have to have a high scale, right?
So if you watch some TV, a low scale junkie is the guy that knocks out your window to steal your computer to get some crack or meth.
High scale
or heroin.
High scale junkies.
High scale
Hunter Biden.
He pawns his mom's Rolex watch
Sells his computer to buy junk. To buy it.
Yes. Sells his company computer to the pawn shop.
Sells his dad's computer.
That's all I got. Yeah. That's all I got.
That's insane.
Pawns his dad Mercedes. There you go.
All right. So we're going to New Hampshire.
New
Hampshire is a 1.05 mile oval track. It has variable banking of 2 to 7 degrees in the corners. It is an asphalt.
That's scary. That's like Martinsville.
I know, man. That's exactly when I read it and the banking's that low and the length is that length. I get very nervous that's going to be a crappy race. So it's an asphalt and granite.
It's going to be a Richmond or Martinsville.
Now that Chase Elliott.
Well, it is the granite state.
So if Chase Elliott can only win on road courses, concrete tracks, and ovals,
this will be a new one for him if he wins. This will be a new one.
The granite.
They can't.
Atlanta's asphalt.
They can't criticize him if he wins on granite.
I think that's another reason they voted no. They're pissed off because now he can win anywhere, and it makes them nervous. So they voted no. But this is an asphalt and granite track. It's seating capacity of 76,000. It is owned by SMI. Opened in 1990. The first race was 1993. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch it on USA Network or PRN.
What's the deal with 3 p.m. all the time?
It works best for the TV. Best ratings.
But the networks don't show baseball. That's the only sport competitor. Basketball's over. Hockey's over. So we're only competing with USFL. No one watches that.
Surfing league. That was literally nobody goes to those. You think our stands are empty? You want to complain about empty stands on TV looking bad? Watch a USFL football game in Birmingham, Alabama. There's literally nobody. Cockroaches aren't even in the stands.
Have you noticed they go out of their way not to show the stands too?
Oh, yeah, but they accidentally do. So when they throw us a pass high in the air and they can't keep the stands out, it's embarrassing how few. It's like you couldn't give away tickets. I would be
Doesn't Fox own this rendition?
Yeah, there you go.
They own it.
It's got the little cartoon characters, I'm sure. I haven't watched it.
A little beaver pops out of the end zone and goes. All
right.
Our beaver shot.
We're going to New Hampshire. You got Denny Hamlin's got 3 wins at New Hampshire. Kurt Busch has 3 wins at New Hampshire. Kyle Busch also has 3 wins. Joey Logano's got 2 wins. Brad Keselowski had 2 wins. Similar to Martinsville, I guess, based on banking, it'd be similar to not Martinsville. I mean Richmond. So I guess Hendrick will probably be pretty good there.
So who are you gonna pick?
I'm gonna go with Denny because I think he's got a chip on his shoulders. I'm gonna go with Chase Elliott because he's on a roll. And Chase runs good on asphalt tracks now, so he could win anywhere.
He could be good on granite too.
Yeah, he very well could. Very well. And we'll find out Sunday. I'm going to go with Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch. I think Kyle Busch has something to prove because he sucked so bad last weekend at Atlanta again. I think he's gonna come out with a chip on his shoulder as well. And I really can't believe I put Ross Chastain in there now that I'm looking at my picks. I think Denny will probably end up wrecking.
I don't know. I think you got a good 4-pick lineup.
Oh, I agree. I think I have 4 solid picks, but I think payback's coming. So I don't think Denny or Martin.
I wouldn't doubt if Ross wins 2 more, even though payback's coming.
Oh, I think he'll win more than 2, but
I mean, he's a talent.
That's the point.
You know what he is?
I don't think Denny and Martin are going to allow Ross to win at New Hampshire.
I don't think so either. So, don't forget Truex, who never did anything to Logano at Martinsville. He's coming back for another year. He needs to man up.
I'm going to change my Ross. I'm going to do something I've never done. I'm changing my Ross Chastain pick right now. And I'm going to do my friend a favor, Mr. Corey LaJoy. I'm going to pick you for the next 6 weeks, bud. I'm picking Corey LaJoy. Well, maybe not next 6 weeks. However many weeks are left till Daytona.
Oh, that's a lot of picks.
I'm picking Corey LaJoy every week until Daytona. I'm not picking him. So I'm taking Ross out and I'm putting Corey in.
Corey's done pretty good on super speedways. We got Talladega and Daytona coming. He could see a win.
Daytona could put him in the playoffs. So I think he drives harder at Daytona. So I'm not going to pick him Daytona, but I will pick him every week till then. Because as you know, if I pick you and then stop, you'll win. So who you got, Jamie? I've got Denny, Chase, Corey.
I like your Denny Hamlin pick, and that was my number one.
All right.
I would prefer to choose Chase, but I think on these crappy tracks, flat tracks, Toyota seems to have an advantage. I'm going with nothing but Toyotas.
All right.
So Kurt Busch after Denny, Suarez, and Kyle. All Toyotas.
Chevy.
Oh, crap.
He used to be.
That's right. He's with Trackhouse.
Good Lord, man. You're like stuck in the past. You don't watch the 2021 SRX
I'm
race.
so pumped up with painkillers right now.
All right. You got Denny, Kurt, Truex.
No, I'm gonna stick with Suarez. We'll throw one Chevy in.
And Truex.
You got two Toyotas and two Chevys. Yeah. I'm going with Denny, Truex, and Kurt. And then Suarez driving the Toyota symbol on his Chevy. Yeah. That's what I got. That's it.
That's all I got too, man. So everyone, thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for following us. Thanks for sharing our show links on social media every week. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, rate us on there. Follow us on Twitter. We're at Car Backwards. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple. Leave us a review and check out our website. It's racecarbackwards.com. Other than that, that's all I got this week. Jamie, anything?
I just want to reiterate, don't stay in a haunted hotel.
Definitely not. Definitely avoid the haunted hotels. All right, guys.
We might never see another review like that. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, everyone. Later. Thanks for listening to a race car spelled backwards.